Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing tonight? It's Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. Welcome to yet another metallic episode of Music of Destruction, bringing you the best in metal-related content right here on YouTube. If you missed anything in the past week or two, click the eye in the upper right corner of the screen. Get caught up on all my latest videos. I would really greatly appreciate that. If there's anything you want me to review, drop it in the comment section down below, within reason, of course, because if you request slam or deathcore, you're not going to get it. I do strive to provide value every time you click on one of my videos. I want to welcome you to Album Review Tuesdays right here on the channel. And tonight is another subscriber request, and this one comes to us from Trace Stewart with Silencer's Death Pierce Me. Finally got this in the mail, so Trey, I hope you enjoy this. Now, Silencer was a Swedish black metal band based out of Stockholm, Sweden, and the group formed in 1995 and disbanded in 2001 after releasing only one full-length album, being Death Pierce Me, and of course the demo of the same name. Now, the lyrical themes revolve around insanity, death, misanthropy, and suicide. Now, the group, which consisted of only 2 official members, was noted for the vocalist Nattram, who possessed an eerie screeching vocal style and was allegedly insane. It being speculated that he was admitted to a psychiatric ward for self-destructive tendencies following the release of this official album, Death Pierce Me. Despite their short musical career, Silencer is considered to be one of the most significant bands in the depressive suicidal black metal subgenre, and I have to agree because they've achieved a cult following in black metal and in the underground that is very, very tight, and there's a lot of people that really love and appreciate this band. I'm one of them. However, the band never performed live and have never given any official interviews. Now, Silencer, being formed in '95 as a solo project, at the time consisted of guitarist and bassist Casado under the pseudonym Lire. At some point prior to 1998, however, Nattram was enlisted as the band's vocalist and lyricist. Now, in late 1998, with the help of session drummer Jonas Mattsson, Silencer released their first professional demo, which composed of a single 11-minute song entitled Death Pierce Me. The song, Sterile Nails and Thunder Bowels, which is the video playing behind me, had a promotional video released for it, which contains images from the 1990 experimental horror film Begotten, so that's really cool. Now, following the release of Death Pierce Me, it is speculated that Nattram was institutionalized at St. Sigfrid's Hospital, a mental hospital located in Växjö. I believe I said that right. Although there's no conclusive evidence to support this, primarily because Nattram has never been interviewed. Now, in 2007, he released a dark ambient solo album called Transformalin, which I have from his project Diagnose Lebensgefahr, roughly translated Diagnosis, Risk of Death, and that is an album that I will be getting to on this channel as well. Nattram also released the book Grishjarta, meaning Pig's Heart, in 2011, a limited edition work containing his artwork and poetry and a small selection of new photographs of him, albeit with his face obscured, of course. These and his promotional photographs from his time in Silencer, in which his face is also obscured, are the only public available photographs of Nattram. So I don't know if you need a history on Nattram, go look him up. It's a very murky tale of a man who's gone completely insane. I completely believe everything about the guy. Alright, so let's get into the review, shall we? So the album opens with the title track, Death Pierce Me, and it offers up a clean, somber, melancholic, clean guitar riff being played repeatedly with an equally slow drum passage, and it begins to plummet you downward and get you ready for this journey into Nattram's insane mind and world in which he inhabits. Now, this is a track full of pure insanity, despondency, and suicide. The screams of pure terror and fear will send chills down your spine, as does the frantic, anxiety-inducing guitar work and drumming. It pulls you down every passing moment, and it strikes more pain and fear into every inch of your being, but once you're in, it locks you in for the entire ride. The pummeling double kicks and doom-like repetition behind the black metal assault do nothing to make this any easier either, because the emotions here are literally inhuman, and the scope of suffering and pain being expressed here is almost too much. And this album is an enthralling experience, and listen, that has to be experienced to be believed. This is an absolute killer opening track. Next up is Sterile Nails and Thunder Bowels, and this is another step downward into complete, utter, insane psychosis and pure existential horror and suicidal hatred. The somber guitar melodies are soft at first before it explodes into a complete cacophonic, full-blown affair of some of the most terrifying and real vocals I've ever heard. Now, the instrumentation here serves as the vessel of expression for Nattram's pain-tortured screeches of acidic bile that he spews into the microphone, which do nothing but make you feel completely worthless and futile in your very existence. I cannot even imagine the insanity and despair that Nattram goes through on a daily basis either, because as a listener myself, I've experienced some of these things when I had anxiety and panic attacks and extreme depression, but not to the degree of this, and I don't suffer from schizophrenia either, because the echoes that come through these passages of insane mental anguish and sickness is exactly what we get with this record. This is literally the soundtrack to a man who is on the verge of completely losing his sanity for good. The edge is being pushed so far here that it almost begs the question, how the fuck was he able to survive the recording process? He was said to have cut himself very deeply during the recording process to get a truly quote-unquote inhuman sounding scream, and that's exactly what we get with this. Another masterpiece of despair and insanity. Next up we have Takla Makan, and it opens with a frantic, pummeling, anxiety-inducing double bass drum pattern and snare drumming with some really amazing deep bass work here as well, before the melancholic, psychotic guitar breaks in and Nattram's vocals take a different turn on this track as we get a little bit of a normal black metal scream in a lot of ways, yet at the same time this track is just as insane as the others, but it has a different tonality and vibe, but it's not any less dark and haunting. This track is a lot more panic-stricken and paranoid than the other two songs that came before it, but we do get some doom-like passages here as well, and some blasting black metal insanity once again, and Nattram's pain and anguish on this track isn't any less prevalent. The wails and shrieks coupled with deep rasps of seething venom and anguish complement the brutality of this song so well that it feels like it could all collapse in on you at any second. This is suffocating, claustrophobic madness that will leave you lifeless. And that's exactly what Silencer's goal is on this record. Another sick song here as well. Next up is The Slow Kill in the Cold. And this one opens with a haunting, depressing keyboard passage that literally expresses the suicidal, depressive side of Nattram. And it's beautifully crafted in its darkness and atmosphere before it breaks into the slow crawl of despondency that continues to pull you into the abyss of Nattram's insane mind and obvious obsession with self-destruction. He's longing to leave this world due to his suffering and depression here, and the screams of anguish are literally inhuman and hypnotic, and the depressing guitar work and drum work here are literally trance-inducing and do a hell of a job at pulling you into the dark, insane world of Nattram, and it's a marvel to experience. Now guys, this is not something that I recommend to anyone who's on the verge of suicide, because this could very well push you to the edge, and you have been warned, so don't listen to this if you're having a really bad day. Next up is I Shall Lead and You Shall Follow, and this is a pounding assault into black hell with insane blasting, skin-slicing guitar work full of pain and insanity, and of course Nattram's tortured inhuman screeches from beyond anything fucking human. The mental psychosis is deep throughout this song as it continues to pound on your psyche with sickening depression and psychosis that will entice you and terrify you at the same time. And I honestly have been jaw-dropped at how incredibly authentic all of this really is. This is something truly special and remarkable in the DSBM genre, and very few bands have been able to touch on this, though there are some, and I'm glad that I own albums from them. So are you guys ready? Let's listen to some of I Shall Lead, You Shall Follow, right here on Music of Destruction. And we are back, and this terrifying trip into self-destruction and insanity only gets more intense as the album progresses to its final climax, severing the jugular, and the entire experience is worth every second of it. I don't know many black metal artists who can truly achieve this level of pain and authentic anguish and terror, because Nattram is so good at conveying this insanity, but the crazy thing about it all is he doesn't have to muster it. It's just there, as if being expressed by itself without the aid of Nattram. And that's what's truly incredible about this. It's almost as if the emotions formed themselves, so to speak. Truly incredible song. I hope you know what I mean. Closing out the album is Feeble Are You, which is a dark, somber piano passage of ambient bliss, conveying the final moments of this album as it beckons your demise as everything you could hope for in your life. Very incredible stuff. Amazing closing composition at 3 minutes and 40 seconds is more than enough for an outro, so to speak, and it works well to conclude this insane journey into madness and pain. A true DSBM masterpiece with Silencer's Death Pierce Me. The final verdict for Death Pierce Me is going to get a 10 out of 10. This is a must-own, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan of DSBM. And hey, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, turn on the bell so you don't miss anything. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you feel like, at Music of Destruction. Join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Music of Destruction. The Seed, episode 26, History of Death Metal Part 2, up on Patreon right now, working on Part 3. If you'd like to support the channel, patreon.com/Music of Destruction. It's like the $5 tier, get access for life. Your money is going to help me get new equipment, new cameras, new lighting, better computer software, all that awesome stuff. So thank you very much for $1 a month. If you want to support that way, that will help as well. I'll shout out your channel, etc., etc. Colton James and myself doing our first movie review coming up in the months to come. We're getting equipment, like I just said. We're going to have a huge studio out in the living room. I'll probably be doing my reviews out in the living room. Might make a new background. That's going to be a fun experience. But yeah, so let's check out a clip of what you can expect on our new YouTube channel, Reviews on the Run.
You know what she did? Your canting daughter?
What should be done with him?
I don't know.
I don't think that's true.
I know while you're working in the region where she went missing. I'm still looking, aren't you?
And we are back. Shoutouts to some great metal brothers in the YouTube community. Metal Ben's Chronicles, King of Swords, Acid Metal, and Backwoods Metal. Have a great night. We'll see you for Album Ranking Wednesdays. Cheers and stay fucking metal. Good night, guys.